It's always a risk buying stuff off of AliExpress. Sometimes you don't receive anything at all. Sometimes what you receive is not what you actually had expected. For me, this video was going to be something completely different, as I thought what I was going to receive, what I expected to receive and previously communicated with the seller on, I thought was going to be one of the most awesome Consolized Neo Geo MVS units for its price with all the features that are listed. And unfortunately, that's not what I received. So today in this video, essentially it's going to be a warning, but then also going over what I actually received versus what was promised. So I guess let's go ahead and get right on into it. Well, since we already have this thing opened, we may as well take a look at it before I put everything back together and, you know, kind of talk about what I have an issue with. But there's some issues here as well, so may as well take a look at the inside. So up top, you see we do have our MV1C board attached to this JAMA like connector right here, which interfaces into this bottom board that has our power and our outputs on the back. Now you may see these two little blue pieces of plastic. They were loose in here. It's actually from the JAMA connector right there. It was broken. Doesn't really seem to affect much, but yeah, it fell off. Seems to be very brittle. There's our Unibios right there, which is one of the issues here. We'll talk about that in a moment. No battery, which I knew they weren't going to ship with a battery. Normally the battery would be up here, but it looks like you could add a battery down here. So I may search into that, but there's pretty much it. The inside, go ahead and kind of try to show you the back a little bit. There you go. Nothing major. We'll talk more about those outputs in a second because that's also one of the issues I have here. But there you go. I'm going to go ahead and assemble this back up and talk about it more in detail of what I have an issue with. All right, now that we got all that out of the way and it's back together, let's take a look at what I received and talk about what I expected. So first, right out the box, I think this looks awesome. It's a really beautiful looking Consolized MVS unit. On the front, you have your SNK ports, your DB15s and Sega Saturn ports, so you could use Sega Saturn controllers. And built into this, you can change the button layout for Saturn very easily, mind you. So that's a good thing. We have headphone jack or headset jack right there, our power button, and then right here you have a setup button which takes you to the built-in options, which is one of the main reasons I wanted this, was for that setup button. And I'll show that on screen in a second here. And then we have a reset button. On this side you have some ventilation, the 138 cable. If you have the 138-in-1 multi-cart, I guess it has a cable attached to it. You plug it in there. I don't have one of those, so it's really not of much use to me. That's okay. I don't care. On the side, you have a test button, which takes you to the like hardware test screen. Volume, which actually works, volume up and down for both, you know, output audio from the back ports, and if you're using the headphones, it works, so that's good. There's our slot. Love the look of this thing. Bottom of it, I mean, it kind of looks a little rough because it has the sticker still on there. I haven't removed it because I'm waiting to hear back from these guys because there's a few issues that really irked me after I seen it. So I did receive the power supply, did come with it, US power supply. That's not an issue. On the back here, we have our multi-out, which would take like Neo Geo, you know, output plugs. You have the Mega Drive 2 or Sega Genesis 2, so I've been testing it with the Rad2X for the, you know, Sega Genesis Model 2, and that works just fine. You have S-Video, and then right, left, and video composite. What I expected, first off, which is going to be a bigger deal to some than others, was there's supposed to be component right here, red, blue, green. Mine does not have that. It wasn't built in at all. I did expect it, and that very, you know, limits my use out of this system. So that's one of the biggest things, okay? One of the biggest. There's still one more problem that actually pisses me off more than that, because I could just use the Mega Drive 2 for HD Retrovision cables and the Rad2X, and it works just fine. But I still would have liked to have component there. And for some people, you're going to use component to, you know, plug it into a CRT that has component, so on and so forth. And the model I received here doesn't have that. Now the other issue, let's go ahead and plug this thing in, because that's where the the next issue comes in play. Get the power in there. We'll set that there. Let's go ahead and take the standard 161 and 1. Multi-cart, plug that thing in. Tight fit. The pins on this unit are very, very tight. Very tight, which is it's a good thing. That's okay. Get a controller because we are going to need that. Plug in the controller. What I like, these ports, this is from Time Harvest. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. They're one of the biggest sellers of Consolized MVS units on AliExpress. They also sell through their own website and various other places as well. And I've had a lot of their products, a lot. I had an issue with one of them. They rectified that issue in the long run, and I haven't had much of an issue since with them. They actually shipped this very quick. I didn't pay for any additional shipping or anything like that. I mean, I did pay for shipping, but I didn't pay for like expedited. And I got this in about a week, maybe a week and a day or two. So very quick and packaged extremely nice. So there's no issues with that. But I do like on these ports, they feel like they feel perfect. Like they feel like premium ports. I've had ports where you plug it in, it's hard to pull the controller port out. Sometimes it's a struggle pushing it in. These are smooth, like a freaking hot fist through butter. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So let's go ahead and power this on. But that's where the beauty ends, because I'm annoyed. I mean, I have solutions to one of the issues here, but the other issue with the component, I don't have, like, it should have came with that first off. Like, seriously. And now I'm not getting power. Am I not plugged in anymore? Holy crap. Did this thing just die on me? There we go. For some odd reason, the power light wasn't coming on. I don't, the damn power plug was in there perfectly fine. Don't mind the stretched ass image. That's not the point of this video. This screen, I cannot get that screen to 4:3, so whatever. Okay, so we have reset button. We could reset the system. If you're using a multi-cart like this and you get into a game, it's just gonna reset the game. It's not gonna reset to the screen, so keep that in mind. On the side, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we can volume up and volume down if need be. You can hit the test button to go to the hardware test, all that stuff, the dip switches and all that. So that switch is on the side, which I'd already shown. It's on this side over here on the side panel. Let's get out of that. And then pretty much that's it for that side. Now, let's go ahead and get into a game. It doesn't really matter. Any game will do. The biggest, I mean, we could have went to the options screen on that menu, but I've tried everything. This cartridge, original cartridge, a different version of this multi-cart, everything. It all does the same thing. I can go into the setup screen, the options screen, right? So here we go. We have a few settings. We could set buttons, change what the buttons do, and that's for Sega Saturn, which is a really useful, extremely useful feature. That's just simple. You just hit that button, go in here and change how you want your Sega Saturn layout to be. Awesome stuff, right? So if you mess that all up, you can hit A on default and go, you know, back to the stock way. Clone and mirror, I have no idea exactly what those do, but I didn't buy this for that particular feature. I bought it for the BIOS feature. You're supposed to be able to select your BIOS in the screen. On their listing, it specifically shows a BIOS option on here, right below this select 138. If you have the 138 and 1, you could use this option and select your game from there and just boot into it, kind of like the carousel quick select thing for Unibios 4.0 for the 161 and 1 cart. Same thing for the 138 if you want to use it. I don't have a 138, so I can't bother with that. But yeah, right here, I'll show the listing as well. It shows on the screen you're supposed to have a BIOS select option. I tried every different way that I could think, like maybe there's another menu that I have to press a certain thing to get into, but none of that works. It's supposed to be on the screen. I don't have it. You have Unibios 3.3, and that's it. Which on the listing, it's always conflicting information. On the listing, it says ships with Unibios 3.3, not eligible for 4.0 upgrade. For, you know, it's not eligible for that for free. Okay, that's standard information. I get it. But Below that, it shows the Unibios options, and it shows that you could select, what was it, 3.3, 4.0, all the different regions, Asia, Japan, US, Europe, whatever. All the stock BIOSes were on there, and the different versions of Unibios were on there as well. We don't have any of that with this system, and that's a big feature that some people would want to make sure they get Unibios 4.0. It's the most up-to-date Unibios, has all the options, the little carousel feature for the 161 and 1, and it works fantastic. But seeing all that information on the listing, I messaged Time Harvest asking them, does this unit in fact come with a Unibios selector where you can swap around the way you guys show it? Because on their listings, they never go into specifics. They just show screenshots. They don't tell you how to use the device. They don't give any information. So part of it is assumption. Part of it is like, does it actually work the way they show it? So that's why I asked them, and they said, yes, you could change the Unibios to whatever one you want within that menu on any cartridge that you use. Any of the multi-game cartridges, any original cartridge, doesn't matter. You have that option. That's not what I received here. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. I think this is a fantastic device. If I could get another BIOS Master 2020 and just plug it in here, for the most part I would be fine, but I'm still kind of disappointed I didn't get component on this device. I mean, it should have came the way they advertised it. I'm waiting for them to communicate back with me, but I don't know how they're going to react to all that, if they're going to make it right, what they're going to do. Chinese New Year is going on, so I don't really expect to hear back from them right away. But once I get some kind of solution from them, I'm going to report back to you guys, let you know how they handled it. Hopefully they handle it well, because this to me is just bullshit. I paid a lot of money for this. I mean, over $300 with shipping, and it's missing half of the features that it was advertised to come with. So, a bunch of boo-boo-ness, man. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time.